Did you know the way you were raised could be shaping your love life today? Are you repeating the tactics that you learned in childhood in your current relationships? How much trust was there in your childhood, and how does that shape your relationships now? Let's find out in this video. Hi, I'm Stephen Antony, a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and board-certified coach through Cleveland Clinic, Ohio. Our purpose on this channel is to make entertaining, cinematic videos backed by science, psychology, and a touch of history, so that you not only enjoy watching them, but also learn powerful insider secrets that will help you create authentic, deep, and loving relationships that last a lifetime. So hit the subscribe button now if you haven't already, and I promise to make it worth your while. Hassan and Shaver, these were two scientists that conducted significant work on how early attachment styles influence romantic relationships in adulthood. And they found three major styles of attachment in infancy. These three styles were secure, or avoidant, or anxious, which is also known as ambivalent. Now, their research showed that there is a similarity between early caregiver-child relationships and adult romantic relationships. And they found that the three attachment styles that you notice in childhood are the same in adulthood. Now, what this means is that when we are small children, we subconsciously learn how to form relationships by observing our caregivers. We see how they handle conflict, how they express love, and communicate their needs, and then we subconsciously adopt all these behaviors as our own. And it's no surprise that we carry over these habits into our relationships. In this video, we will, quote unquote, open the curtains of your subconscious mind and understand why you think and act the way you do in your relationships. Think of each of these as a curtain that we are about to open. So let's open the first curtain and look what's inside. The dominant emotional theme. What emotions would you say were dominant in your home when you were growing up? Were there feelings of safety, joy, and contentment? Or was there fear, anger, sadness? Were these the prominent themes? How would you describe the dominant emotional theme of your household when you were growing up? Come up with 1 to 3 words. And notice if you see any of these patterns in your current home and relationships. And as you begin to see them, ask yourself the question, are you happy with these patterns, or would you like to replace them with something else? If so, what would you like to replace them with? Now, let's look behind the second curtain, communication styles. How did people talk to each other in your home while you were growing up? Were their methods of communication helpful? Now, bad communication and expression would often lead to more problems and also comes with a host of mental health issues. And this has been studied by Dahl and Fellinger in 2022. There's a paper here in case you want to look at the systematic review. So how would you think of the communication in your home? Was the communication direct, open, and honest? Or was there a culture of silence? Focus on it for a moment and think about if that is the type of communication that will help you develop deep connections. For example, children who grow up in families where the parent is a great storyteller often tend to develop deeper bonds in their adulthood. In case you come from a family where your parent was not a good storyteller, don't worry. We have this covered, and you can check out our program, Deep Connection Blueprint. Have a look at the content of our program. You don't need to buy the program. Just have a look at the content of the program and understand what areas you need to master to develop a deep connection with the other person. The link is in the description box below. Now, let's look behind the third curtain, the disciplining style. How did your family communicate? How did your parents discipline you when you exhibited bad behavior? Disciplining tactics we learned early in life from authority figures show up later in life as annoying habits. So if a person is excessively critical, they show a lot of criticism, or if the person is a micromanager, or if the person doesn't really communicate well, they neglect people and they give people the silent treatment, if they don't listen to the other person, if they dismiss the feelings and thoughts of the other person, it is very likely that this is a habit that's been learned during childhood. Now, let's look what's behind the fourth curtain, trust. How much trust did you have when you were growing up? Did your parents instill confidence in you that you would always be taken care of? Or were there moments when their reliability was questioned? If children experience their parents' lack of control, or they are faced with situations of collapse at their home, they learn that the only way to survive is by toughening up. This creates what we call a control seeker. From a very young age, they teach themselves not to depend on anyone. Control seekers need to feel in charge all the time because it helps them push away that fear of helplessness, that fear of humiliation and abandonment. If you remove their sense of control, they will feel exposed. They will feel defenseless. Now, when they are in control and when they enter a relationship, the other partner is attracted to them because of their decisiveness and how they are able to take charge and keep everything under control. However, further into the relationship, the other person starts feeling unappreciated and they may even feel subdued. So this is again a behavior that's been learned during childhood. Now, let's look behind the fifth curtain, intimacy. How did your parents express intimacy, emotional intimacy with each other? Did they give each other the love and attention, or were there moments of neglect and distance? People who downplay or ignore their emotions probably grow up in an environment where they were not encouraged to express themselves. On the other hand, people who grow up in a home where they felt secure expressing emotions develop to have good emotional intelligence and good social skills. Now, let's look at the sixth curtain, prioritization. How much did your parents prioritize you while you were growing up? From a very young age, children learn to notice whether or not they are a priority for their parents. Now, children who get the sense that they are not a priority for their parents, they grow up to become what is known as vesselators. Now, vesselators often go on a journey to find the solid love and connection in adulthood that they lacked during their childhood. So whenever they enter a relationship, vesselators may feel as if they have found their true love finally. Now, as a result, they tend to dedicate significant time and energy to the partnership during the early stages. And they also have this need to be constantly reassured that the other person finds them important. Many of them also have an unrealistic idea of what a relationship should be. Now, spouses of vesselators who get into such a relationship, they feel attracted in the beginning because there is a lot of attention that is being given. However, over time, the spouse starts feeling like they're not good enough. Even when the spouse does everything right, it doesn't feel like it's ever enough. This is because the veselator has unrealistic expectations of their spouse, and they are based on an idealized version of what love should be. Now, let's continue. Let's look at what's behind the seventh curtain. How well did your parents love themselves? This is an important question. Did your parents have healthy self-esteem and confidence, or did they suffer from self-doubt? If your parents lacked self-love, chances are you may have inherited their lack of confidence, and this would be impacting your ability to form meaningful connections with others. In such a case, to achieve a healthy relationship, it's important for you to learn the art of self-love and cultivate feelings of acceptance, appreciation, and self-worth towards yourself. That brings us to the end of the video. Let us know in the comment section below, what role do you think your childhood plays in your current relationships? Share your experience with us. Thank you for watching. This is Stephen Antony from Psychology MD. Bye-bye.